Hello, beautiful souls. I am the magical medium. Welcome to my spiritual guidance channel. Before you are 4 piles. If you've never been here before, you might want to stick around and I'll tell you a little bit more about how this works. But if you've been here before and you don't feel like listening to the intro and how this reading came to be, then you can go straight down to the description box and find your timestamp. Maybe you're drawn to one pile, maybe you're drawn to more than one pile, but I'm going to start from my left to right. So we have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. And some of you are already gone, but anyway, thank you so much for being here. All of my information is in the description box below. If you would like to book a one-on-one session with me, or if you would like to contribute to this channel. So I just want to tell you guys a little bit about how this came to be. Right now in real time, it's January 28th, 2022. We are in the waning crescent moon. We are in the rest and restore phase of the moon, the last few days of this moon cycle. And I felt like today that Spirit really, really wanted me to talk to you guys about focus, grounding, getting centered, but also just about acknowledging the fact that, the energy here right now is really intense. And yesterday I had an occurrence happen that was so, I don't know what, which by the way, I just noticed that these were out of focus. Isn't that interesting? Because I moved it around. I just realized, but maybe that was good. Maybe that was for somebody who already, they weren't here to listen to this. They just needed their message. That's okay. And it doesn't need to be perfect. There's no such thing. Also, Spirit wanted me to illuminate the fact that look at how even on the card, it's the waning crescent. I thought we were going to show the front side of the card. If you're having a difficult time choosing which one to go to, then you can look, there'll be emojis. I'm not sure exactly what the emojis are going to be. Spirit will know what to put. And so by now it's there, but in real time, this is what's happening for me. But now it makes sense to me. I mean, I've seen the back of these cards so many times, but it's funny how you can see something 100 times, but still not see it. And yesterday, my beloved and I wanted to go on an adventure. We were both like, man, I need a fire. Like, we were both just feeling like a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. He'd done ayahuasca the day before and he was feeling really euphoric. I was feeling good too. And I was like, let's just go into nature. It was like one of the first really nice days. It was going to be sunny and 55 on the peninsula. I really wanted to go to the ocean. Spirit called us to go to the Hood Canal. Long story short, we ended up going up and down all of our favorite places, like all of our favorite rivers, all of our favorite little spots, and nothing felt right. Or they were like, no fires, no, we're like, what? So all we wanted was a fire and to make some food on the fire, buy water. Like we just had all of like these plans that we wanted. We just needed to be. We were both are just feeling so hectic and like overwhelmed with life in multiple ways that we just needed a break. But it was like chasing the dragon. I mean, honestly. And then we ended up at one of my least favorite places, but I was grateful that at least at my least favorite place, we were by water. The sun was out. We got to watch the sunset behind the mountain, and it was really good. Until we went to make food, and my partner and I ended up getting this huge fight because I am the type of person that's super meticulous and I need to have things done a certain way. I'm getting better about it, but I realized that some things were me being quote unquote controlling, and some things were like, that's just the way I rock. Like, basically saying to him, like, you can be whoever you want to be in whatever situation, but for me, I need this. And I realized I'm like, they're not hearing me. And even when I was explaining why I was upset, I can see like that, deer in the headlights look like they're just like zoning out. They're really not understanding why I was so upset. And then it occurred to me, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this whole day was because of the way my day started. It started really wonderful, But then we stopped at Trader Joe's on our way out of town to grab some food. And I was frustrated because I don't know about you guys, but like in real time for me, I can barely go outside anymore. Not in nature, but like I can barely go into stores or be around other people just because the energy is just so fucking chaotic. And please comment below if you've been going through this too. So as an empath, I have tools to protect myself. I have tools to, enhance, my gifts and whatever, whatever languaging you want to say around it. So I go into Trader Joe's and I'm on a mission. I didn't really check in with Spirit because I kind of knew already, what we were going to eat. We both were like, yeah, that sounds good. That felt right. Everything was right. Until I get into the store and I'm getting this like vibe from Spirit, like, no, don't buy that. And just like these, because I'm so, connected every day, all the time, I can tell when they're like, don't do that. And I'm just like, why? Like, I really, like, I'm not seeing why. And so I pull out my pendulum and I'm using my pendulum to help me. I try not to use my pendulum in the store, but these days it's like sometimes I need to because, I'm also a telepath. So I can hear people's thoughts and their emotions. If their walls are down and their guards are down, they're just willy-nilly. So for some people, they go into a store and they hear maybe a light murmur of talking. But for me, when I go into a store, it's like there's 7,000 voices going off. And I'm just like trying to like, it's like going in slow motion in like a movie, like in Lord of the Rings, like when, they put on the ring and like all of a sudden it's like the world's moving differently for them because they're invisible, right? They've gone into a different dimensional realm. Well, it's kind of the same for me. It's like I'm in my world all the time. That's really awesome. And it's like, as you can see above the cards, there's crystals. I've got, sticks and just everything. I mean, copper. I've got like, this awesome copper, which I'm going to light some stuff at the end here. You know what I mean? It's like I have so many things and just I'm so divinely protected. Archangel Michael and I are like best friends. Like he's like my family. I feel like he's like a part of me. I mean, talk about twin flame. Um, but we have a connection that's like really deep like that. So anyway, cut to I'm using my pendulum and I see these two young women who work at the store actually. One was pregnant and they were both probably like somewhere in their 20s. It's hard to say anymore, but definitely much younger than I am, 50. And I look at them or I can hear them whispering, but when people whisper, they forget too. Like I hear everything. And I'm not saying that to be like, like I'm all that. It's just more like no matter how many times I try to explain my gifts to other people, it's like only other people like myself, which I know most of you on this channel are like me or somewhere in the vicinity because you wouldn't be here otherwise. And long story short, I just realized that they were making fun of me. Now, normally, I would have handled that so differently. My very flitty, loving, lighthearted fairy would have probably, gone up to them and been like, it's called a pendulum. Do you want me to show you how it works? Like, and they could have been like, no, thank you. And I would be like, that's okay. And I would have walked away knowing like that, cause I've been called a weirdo freak. I've been an outcast my whole life, the way I look, the way I, everything. So that happens and I'm like, okay, whatever, so I'm just like ignoring it. Then I was feeling like this block, like in this aisle, and I couldn't really explain it. And so I decided to use my pendulum again on this other product because I was like, wait, did you say you don't want me to get that? And it was just a weird energy. Well, then all of a sudden this guy walked by that worked there and I saw him kind of look at me and then he looked at them and then I saw him kind of put his hand out like with his thumb back at me like, what the fuck's going on over there? And they started laughing and then I heard him go, ooh, maybe she can tell you if you're having a girl or a boy. But it was like, it was not nice. Like and they were blatantly making fun of me. And I don't know, I just was like, what the fuck? And my Southside Chicago Kelly, as I call her, my dark shadow, wanted to come out and just be like, I wanted to walk by and like freak him out or say something like oogly boogly or, be careful, I might hex you, kind of thing. But I would never, but it's just like, that's what brought out of me. And then I realized I'm like, whoa, that's some old shit. Like, where's that coming from? And I've been writing a lot lately. and just going through stuff from my childhood and painful stuff from my childhood. And it just like clicked. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what's happening. So as I leave that area, I'm like, I need to walk away from that. I'm like, I'm just like, okay, I'm releasing this. I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. And then I walk over to another area. And again, it's just like the energy. Now, mind you, you guys, I'll admit, I mean, I don't look like everybody either. I wear a hat and the way I'm dressed and my clothes and my boots and stuff. I look like a fucking fairy witch walking through there. And I don't fucking care because that's what I am, right? I'm not going to change who I am for everybody else. So I'm in this area and they're stocking food and it's just really busy and it's like, 11ish, getting towards lunchtime. And so again, I'm like going to grab what I think we're going to eat and it's just not working out. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I'm like, I don't know what to do. Pull my pendulum out again and I'm like, why are you drawing me to this? I'm like, okay, cool. Do you want me to eat this? And so I'm using my pendulum. Oh, when I looked down, it was 11 minutes. I love you, angels. Thank you, spirit family. And then this woman comes into my very personal space. 11:11, I look down. She comes into my personal space very abruptly and says, what is that smell? Oh God, what is that smell? And she's wearing a mask, right? And it looks like a very heavy duty mask too. And I'm just like looking at her, like I kind of just like pulled back because I wasn't sure what the fuck she was talking about. I didn't know what she was saying, what she was, I wasn't even there because I'm in my own world picking out fucking salads. I'm like, I have no idea I probably know she's talking to somebody. I have no idea. And all of a sudden she's like, it's you, like to me. And I'm like, and I'm using my pendulum and she goes, stop swinging that thing around. It's only making the smell worse. And I'm again taken aback. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I realize we're in Mercury retrograde. I realize it's the end of a moon cycle. I realize there's a lot going on astrologically. I know that. But I still was just taken aback by their attitude, their actions, and their repulsion of me. And the way she looked at me was like I was like a witch, but that it was bad to her, that I was evil. It was, and I could feel, and that's the thing is that people don't understand when they're like, you don't know what they were thinking. You don't know what they're feeling. I'm like, unfortunately, I do. I doubted my gifts for years. And now it's like, no, I was right on the money. And then she goes, what is that smell? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about, lady. Like, I didn't even know how to respond to her. My Southside Chicago Kelly wanted to be like, fuck off. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you coming at me, bitch? Like, I don't fucking know you, right? Like, that's what I wanted to, like, that's where, like, my darkness wanted to repel her darkness. But instead, I just was like, I don't know, lady. Like, I kind of was like, I don't know how to respond to this right now. And the irony is, I had called on Jesus when I woke up yesterday morning because I was feeling like I wanted his loving energy around me. Because even though I felt good when I woke up, I felt sad. I even told my partner when I got in the car, I was like, I feel like I need to cry or something. I'm like, apparently I need to let some shit out by the fire. But I said it through, funny, like when I went into the store, it was like this, right? But man, in that 15 fucking minutes, it was like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, and I tell you guys all the time about the pinball effect, but that was like one of those moments that I'm like, this is no motherfucking joke. So I just like looked at her and then I remembered that I put on frankincense before I'd gone into the store. I'd put it around my hat. Now I use only pure products. So it's pure, beautiful, like the most pure distilled frankincense, pretty much you can get out there. And definitely in the high percentage. And frankincense is beautiful. And I used to be repelled by frankincense. And the last time I was with my family, I had put some on and they acted like that too. And my one aunt was like freaking out about it. And she was like so repelled by it. And I said to them, just like I said to and she was an elderly woman, by the way, you guys. That's why I kind of stopped. Cause like, she's a little old crone and I'm just at the beginning of my crone and I was like, what am I going to say to her? I'm not going to like be a full on disrespectful asshole. But at the same time, she had no problem being completely outwardly disrespectful to my face. And she basically called me a dirty hippie without outrightly calling me a dirty hippie. She literally told me I smelled and said I was repulsive, and which was ironic because right before that happened, this other woman had leaned in and had this really, to me, offensive, very fake perfume. I could tell it was like a toxic, you know what I mean? Like it was very synthetic. And that grosses me out. Is synthetic perfumes freak me out. So that, it just was like, and she just kept going on, and I didn't know what to do. I literally was like, okay, like from, like yeah, I'll go away. Like I went to this place, this dark place that I didn't even think was there anymore. I've those of you who know me, like I've let my freak flag fly proudly. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks of me 99.9% of the time, but I was vulnerable and I was tired. I was exhausted. I haven't been sleeping well. I've been doing a lot of spirit work and a lot of my own creative stuff and writing, and I've just been really intensely going inward. My partner has been as well. Ooh, whoa, part of the tree just fell on the top of our roof. That's awesome. Thank you, oak tree. So for those of you who need oak tree medicine, but anyway, it just got really heavy and dark, and so I just pulled myself away from the situation. I started to walk away, and then it was like something took over, and I said, just so you know, I said, if you are repulsed by something so beautiful and healthy and organic as real frankincense, I'm like, you probably need it. And she goes, oh, I do not need it. She's like, trust me, I don't need. And then she like did this thing with her whole body looking at me up and down. I don't need any of that. And I was like, whoa. And she was wound tight as a motherfucker. You know what I mean? And her little zippy puffy jacket, and like it was like she was one of those ladies that, again, I'm not putting in a judgment, I'm just giving you perspective. you know Jeans and proper shoes, and a zip. She was in good shape and good health, but I could tell she was at least in her 70s, and gray hair and glasses and all this, but she was just wound up tight, and I felt it, and I was just like, man, like you need some fucking healing, sister, in one way or another. But it was like, obviously, that was all meant to go down. But when I got to the checkout, usually the person will say, did you find everything okay? Instead, he said, how are you doing today? And I said, I don't really know. And he's like, why? And I go, I was just verbally accosted. So I don't know. I don't know. It just happened. I just want to get the fuck out of your store, really. That guy was like, oh no, and I was like, yeah. And I go, I guess I'm gonna have to send my husband next time. I go, maybe we won't come back here. I go, because honestly, the last 3 times I've been in here, that's the energy that's been in your store. And I don't know if it's people that work here. I just couldn't help myself. I was just like, I gotta speak my fucking truth. And so I walked out, and I got in the car, and I was like angry, and I went to get in the car, and my husband was like, what's wrong? And I said, I don't want to bring this into the car, so I'm going to tell you from the car. I'm going to get out. I'm going to tell you. I was like loading things into the car, and I started to tell him, and then I got in the car. I go, I'm okay. And then we started to drive away, and he's like, what happened? And he's like, do you want to talk about it? And I just started bawling my eyes out. And I realized that I was like, you know what? In many lifetimes, I've been murdered, I've been ridiculed, I've been chastised. It's like, I understand things and I know what's happening on the planet right now, but it does not negate the fact that I'm also human here right now. And sometimes we can only take so much. So at the end of this moon cycle, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, take some time to rest, restore, and reflect. Rest, restore, and reflect. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but in real time, if you watch this towards the end of January, going into the new moon on February 1st, I really urge you to just rest. If you want to cancel plans, cancel plans. If you want to be somewhere, that's fine, but let people know. Just say, hey, I'm not myself right now. Maybe you need to ask somebody, hey, can you do me a favor and go to, oh, do you guys see that? I didn't touch anything. And I'm pretty far away from those cards. That's awesome. Maybe you didn't know which card to choose, I don't know. And now you're like, maybe you know already. I don't know. Maybe we all need to go to that card. But what I'm trying to tell you is that, ask for help. You're not alone. And it's beyond asking for help from your guides and your angels, you know, etc., spirit animals. This is like asking your friends who are maybe not as empathic as you, or maybe they're not empaths at all. They're really strong spirit warriors, but they have empathy, of course, but they're not empaths. People mistake empathy and empaths for two different things. But the more I study empaths, the more you know, my whole life I've studied empaths. I take these tests. They're like, how many are you? I'm like, I'm 20 out of 20. You know, and if you're like me, then you need to find that strength to ask for help. You know, and I said to my partner, I was like, man, I should have asked you. I really wanted him to go in with me, but I could tell he didn't want to go in. But I was like, I'll do it, man. You're driving. You know, I knew he was going to, like, in my mind, I was like, oh, he's going to set up the fire. He's going to do all these things. And I didn't want him to have to feel that way, you know, and, you know, run down. I wanted him to stay. I was like, I can shake it off. You know, I'm a little stronger than him right now. But I took that for granted. I should have urged it, right? I should have asked, but I didn't. But it wasn't meant to go. It was I should say it was all meant to go down that way, because I wouldn't be able to share this story with you. And all throughout the day, I was like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, I asked, this is what happened when I asked Jesus to come in. It was like I was blaming Jesus. You know what I mean? Like I was just like blaming people. I was going through victim. Like throughout the day, it was like this whole plethora, because everything I wanted to do, it was like, nope, nope, closed, closed. We couldn't get there because the ice and the snow. And I was like, oh my gosh. And yeah, it was just one of those days that it was just one of those days. But then I also realized that energetically, even though people may not respond to it, what's happening on the planet is what's happening. So astrologically right now, I'm getting this vibe like we're meant to just chill out, just like take some time, relax, watch our favorite shows, our favorite movies, eat our favorite foods, you know, within reason, take good care of yourself, rest and restore, and reflect on this last moon cycle. This last moon cycle that we just had in our very first moon cycle in 2022. And I always call it like, you know, it's the what do you call it when somebody's like the what did you say, spirit? The rebound. It's the rebound cycle. Because we're coming off of 2021, right? And 2021 was a motherfucker. The last few years have been really hard. And, you know, this last moon cycle, we needed that break. We needed that time. When I looked down, it was 22:32. So if that means anything to you guys, it's also, I think it's the number 9, right? So it means we're almost at the end of it. So look forward to the new moon in Aquarius. Aquarius energy is so lovely and beautiful. I mean, there's so many things I can say about Aquarians. So in this work hard, play hard mentality, we need to find more balance. So with that being said, those are your piles before you. All of my information is in the description box below. Thank you for being a part of this tribe. Welcome to the new subscribers. Thank you to the current subscribers and the ones who have been with us from the beginning. Thank you, thank you, thank you for holding and supporting us up. We all do it for each other when we can, where we can. But yesterday taught me so much from beginning to end, even at the fight that I had with my partner. And he said, I think it's because you just didn't get what you want. When I asked him why, he thought I was upset. And it just blew my mind. And I was like, we need to really, and honestly, that sparked into a fight, but like went from a fight to an argument to a talk to a hug to a I love you. You know what I mean? We kind of went backwards. It was like we saw what it was for what it was. And sometimes we need to recognize that things happen to us for a reason. They happen for us, not to us, even if we can't see it in the moment. I love you guys. I will see you at your pile. Blessed be. Oh. Welcome, card number 1. I don't know if these are going to be cards or piles, but right now I'm just saying cards. So just welcome. Just welcome. You chose the King, the messengers of Avalon. Man, authority, male sexual energy, things pertaining to the law, justice, and number 3. Also, if you zoom in on that card, you can see that in one hand, the king is holding a scepter, and the other hand, he's holding a sword. Now, this card just represents the masculine energy. It doesn't matter whatever you identify with. This is about the king energy. It's also about endings, right? Because when you look at a tarot deck, the king is the last card in the deck. And in this particular situation, I'm feeling that the sword represents air signs. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, we are in Aquarius energy right now. And even though Aquarians are considered the water bringers, some people think of them as a water sign, but they're not. Actually, the next sign is Pisces. That's the water sign, but Aquarius is actually an air sign. So this may be that you are an air sign or you're dealing with an air sign, or that it's beautiful that at the end of this moon cycle, in this waning crescent, as we're getting to the closure of this moon cycle, it's like the king's letting you know that it's okay to come up for air. Just like the Aquarius. Aquarians are very playful. They have a very playful side. And I feel like for you guys in your rest and restore, I'm feeling, before I read the card, I have to tell you, I'm feeling a lot of repression of a male authority for some of you. And when I say I'm feeling oppression, repression, this could be a father figure, this could be a significant other, it could be a boss. But I feel it's interesting when it says male sexual energy next to it, but actually what I saw was male insecurity. It's as if sexual just completely blurred out, and I saw male insecurity energy. So whoever you're dealing with in this cycle in your life, and this person is very insecure. The sad thing is, I'm seeing a lot of different people, because this is obviously a mass reading for a lot of people, but what I'm getting from this particular energy right now is there's like it's like a 50-50 coin. It could even be that you're dealing with a Gemini, somebody who kind of shows you two faces, or they're Gemini-like, where it's like, maybe they're like really cool to you like outside of work, but like, or like maybe you guys were friends and then they became your boss, something like that. And when you're in, and this could even be a woman, by the way, who just has a really strong masculine energy. So if you're like, oh, that doesn't, and you're like, oh wait, that pings, whatever, could be a friend of yours. I've had that situation before where I've had it happen to me both ways, where I was the employee and became the manager. And your friends are like, all of a sudden they're like, oh, you're too cool for school, or you're not gonna, come on dude, we used to fuck around before. And you're like, well, I'm the boss now. I can't do that. Or it could be that your friend became the boss, but they're like abusing their authority, and they're just like taking on a role that is they're making you feel insignificant, or like that your thoughts don't matter, or what you feel doesn't matter. I'm just kind of getting this like charge of energy that they're kind of selfish, whoever this person is, and maybe they don't mean to be selfish, but they're being really selfish and really childish too. And so I'm getting the vibe that like maybe at work they're kind of an asshole to you, but then when they're like drinking, or like you guys are hanging out, or maybe you walk together, you do something healthy together, they're like, I'm so sorry, I took that out on you, or whatever. But they say like you tend to hurt the person that's closest to you. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying that that feels like kind of what's happening, and that they're not meaning to be that way. In fact, I kind of feel like both the flames wanted to be on either side of you to kind of show you like that they don't mean it. It's just like there's fire all around them and they don't know how to handle it. I feel like for some of them, they literally like don't know how to handle it. That's what I'm hearing from spirit. And it could be that because see how like this person's like behind them, and they're like, look dude, I got your back, like I got your fucking back 100%. Look at how their hands on the sword, and they're like, I got your back. And the king's like, I know you got my back. And he's like, yeah, but you're kind of treating me like shit though. Like, why are you keeping me behind here? It's like the king's like, talking to his people, and he's telling the people like this war that they were just at, this battle. And yes, he came back alive, but he came back alive because this dude saved his ass, right? Like, this dude continued to save his ass, but in front of everyone else, he's like, yes, yes, thank you. I went into battle and it was a great battle. I fought greatly. And he's like, yeah, because I had your ass like the entire time. And this could be relationships too, right? Like, where maybe somebody's flourishing in their craft or they're flourishing at their job. You know, maybe you're that person who like worked to put your spouse through school, and now they're kind of like, you know, not reciprocating that kind of energy for you, or they're doing it, but they're doing it in kind of like begrudgingly or with resentment, you know? I'm just feeling like this kind of like high stakes relationship. That's what it feels like. It feels like a high stakes relationship. So I'm going to read from the book and see what the book has to say. That's just with straight channel from spirit. So whatever pinged. And also, if this doesn't feel right to you, it may not be part of your story. Maybe it's from the book, or, you know, maybe, you know, you weren't sure whether to go to this card, but there was another card, you know, maybe that's your pile. So it says the king appears to represent the powers of justice, authority, the law, and male sexual energy. When the king appears on your path, it's time to put your house in order. Complete any unresolved legal issues and deal with issues related to fairness. The king always lets you know that something significant is yours to experience and learn from. The king requires you to take inventory of anything left undone and do it. Pay bills, settle arguments, make amends, and act with authority, as all of these actions abolish weakness and restore your power. You're also reminded that the king is regarded in highest esteem and within his natural authority. He acts with intelligence and strategy. Think and analyze, and the king will bestow great gifts on you. There is another meaning when the king appears on your path. If you're inquiring about a man and your relationship to him, the king stands to represent him, which will bode well or not so well depending on which other cards flank him. Pay attention, for this king reminds you to take affirmative action in your life. Wow. Yeah, like if you were pulled, since this was the first pile slash card, if you were pulled to pile number 2, you know, if you weren't, then no, that's not your message, right? But if you were pulled to pile number 2 as well, then definitely, you know, there you go. Let me see, you guys. Let's see if there are any more messages for your pile. Ooh, okay. So this one came out right away, actually. It was like I started to shuffle and they held them back, and then just this one. Okay, the Earth Fairy, which is 27, which is also the number 9. Which, if you watched the beginning, we were talking about that we're, even now, right, we're at the end of this moon cycle. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but in real time, this is January 28th, 2022. We are in the waning crescent moon. We're just a few days before the new moon in Aquarius. So we're at the end of it. And what do you need to, you know, reflect on in this last moon cycle? You know, that's what I'm getting from spirit. So the Earth Fairy is telling you it's time to focus on your physical health, grounding, and foundations. Yes, that's what I felt too. And my throat chakra just started to get kind of fuzzy. So I'm getting the vibe that you're not speaking your truth either. And it's time for you to stand up and say, you know what? I need to speak my truth. Those wings on that fairy are moth wings. I can tell by looking at them. And at least that's what they're telling me. So I'm not an expert, but that's the vision I'm getting. And do you see how this is kind of, you know, tattered? I'm getting this energy that she's tired, she's depleted, right? And almost like, too, Spirit had me put the card right there, but if you look at the crystal on the end of her staff, it's there and it's beautiful, but it's not quite illuminated, right? In fact, I'm going to bring these two in. I wondered why these two wanted to come in, and now I know why. So this still bite, right? When you look at the still bite like this, you can almost put it in her staff, right? When you look at the still bite like this, it's flat. It's not shiny. It's not, you know, but when you kind of move the still bite around and you look beneath the surface of that still bite, you're like, okay, that is special. And by the way, look at this, you guys. I've had this still bite for years, but I want you to focus on how much this, and like the eye, it almost looks like another moth and like a wing, right? Like you can almost like put them together. What is that? All these weird noises are happening right now in my house. I'm using natural lighting today too, and the windows are open. So we've got a lot of, I live out on in the country, so there are a lot of critters out there. Okay, but do you see what Spirit is saying? It's like right now you're kind of in this very, like, your health isn't good. You're not getting enough fresh air. You're not getting enough exercise. Your foundation is not solid. So you need to get this back. This is your natural glow, your natural, and also don't let somebody else take, don't let anyone, basically Spirit saying, like, don't let anyone steal your fairy fire, right? Like, look at that. The fairy wanted me to put it like that so you can see it. Spirit wanted me to put it there so you can see that's who you are. You're a powerful, powerful, powerful being, but your physical health is not doing well on multiple levels, whether it's anxiety, because it could be mental, emotional, physical. It could be all of the above, emotional. Because when our emotional health isn't balanced, then it totally messes up our chi of our physical health. And if you live somewhere like myself, like, it's the weather has been crap. And I just was like, I need to be in nature. I need to be in nature. And I got in nature and I got grounded, but it wasn't enough. And I realized that, my earth fairy was begging me to get more, healthy, fresh air. Even my cat today was like, stick your head outside for a while. You know what I mean? She's like, I just, basically what I'm hearing from Spirit is to allow yourself to breathe, meditate more, go inward, take these few days. Again, whenever you watch this, it's timeless. But if you're seeing this in real time, Spirit's calling you to take a few days to yourself. You need some time. And don't feel guilty about it either. Like, I'm hearing that some of you guys, you naturally, like, you carry a lot of guilt. You harbor a lot of guilt. Let me see if Spirit wants to read from the book. We're going to read from the book. Hold on. Okay, so it says, the Earth Fairy says to pay attention to your health and all things pertaining to your physical body. Perhaps you need exercise or to pay attention to your diet. Are you getting enough sleep? The Earth Fairy reminds you to indulge your senses. It's good to revel in the sensations of your body. The sensual world is an important part of the path to Avalon and must be honored. When the Earth Fairy appears, she reminds you to get into your body and out of your head. Don't spend so much time analyzing things over and over and over. Get your hands into some dirt. Do some gardening, perhaps. And also, Spirit said, yeah, like, you can do indoor gardening. You don't have to. Did you see how that light went there? It's just me moving away from the sun, or me moving, to the sunlight. But they want to show you, like, yeah, like, just so that you can feel that light shining behind you. Because right now it's like, right, you're feeling kind of lackluster. So it says, walk barefoot in the grass and remember that your physical self is the house of your spirit, as the Mother Earth houses you. Get grounded and remember that you're part of the living earth. Stay connected. Another message from the Earth Fairy is to make sure the foundations of all you do are solid. Be aware that projects, relationships, business ideas, and families all need to be built on sturdy, steady foundations. The Earth Fairy always helps you when you ask. Okay, you guys, I'm pretty sure those are your messages, but, I'm always going to keep going if Spirit says to go. Nope, that was it. I hope those messages help you, dear ones. All of my information is in the description box below, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh. Pile 2. I am humbled in your presence. I'm humbled in your presence because the way this is, like, I almost feel like I have to readjust. I just started setting this up for you guys, and it was just I just felt this energy that, like, I even, like, see how, like, this fleur-de-lis from, like, one of my decks, like, what, there's just like a lot of old medicine, and the fact that you chose the eagle is so powerful to me, because to me, the eagle is right up there. Some people will say, oh, this is the number one spirit animal, this is, whatever, but the eagle in the Native American medicine, I know for sure, is considered to be like, it's the god of the sky. You know what I mean? Eagles have, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but eagles actually have the capacity to live longer if they choose to. I don't remember, don't quote me, but I feel like I remember it's either 40 or 50 years that an eagle can live. Now, that's like the standard lifespan of, like, not every eagle lives that long, of course, but they can live to be that old, right? However, when they get to that point and their talons are old and their beak is old and their feathers and everything about them is kind of like old and withered, they can literally pull out their own talons, their beak. I know it sounds really gross and fucked up, but they can, and their feathers, and they basically have this kind of rebirthing, like phoenix rising out of the ashes moment, and they can live like another, I think, 30 years or something crazy like that. I don't know, don't quote me, but research it if you're interested. You chose this pile. Look up, exactly what I said, like use whatever keywords to research it and Google. But I remember when I had read that, I just thought that's like the coolest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Like I had no idea. Like I had no idea that they could do that. So the fact that we're at the end of this moon cycle, we were the new moon in Capricorn, but now we're in the last few days of it. We're in the waning crescent moon. We're just a few days away from the new moon in Aquarius. But we're at the end of the first moon cycle of the brand new 2022 Gregorian calendar year. And I feel like you guys are in desperate need of the rest and restore energy. I don't know about the reflect so much, because I do like that how the eagle is kind of like looking off, like in reflection, like it's like he's kind of like he's over here, he's looking over here, he's not looking straight at us. But it's interesting because it kind of looks like he's looking, behind him. And the words on the card say spirit, integrity, connection to the angelic realm, and it's number 9. And these are the animal guides of the Avalon. This is the wisdom of the Avalon oracle cards. But, I thought it was interesting too that I have this branch behind here. I actually use it a lot in my readings, but I have it upright like this because it looks like it looks like a hand. It looks like a creepy old tree. But today was the first day where they wanted to go sideways, and I didn't understand. That's pyrite, by the way, that was brought into your reading, and apophyllite. Both pyrite and apophyllite wanted to come in. So if you have them, work with them. If you don't and you can afford to do so, go and grab yourself some pyrite and apophyllite. But just so you know, you don't have to actually have the crystals to still harness their energy and harness their medicine. I'm just feeling a real heaviness and a sorrow from this pile. The connection, it's almost like your connection to the angelic realm. It's almost like you keep looking behind you. It's like spirit's trying to be like, look here, look here, look here, look here, and you're like over there and you're looking in the past, and spirit's like, you are not going to find us there. You're not going to find spirit behind you. They're always behind you, right? They're always going to lift you up and take care of you. But your connection to the angelic realm is before you. And it's time for you to look forward. It's really seriously time for you to start looking forward and not behind. Because what you're looking for, you're not going to find back there. See how you're looking? Look at how the light is. Spirit told me to put the card exactly there. Do you see how the light's there on the card? Over here, right? It's like that's spirit showing you, like, you're looking to them, but maybe for some of you, it's like an old practice. Like you're looking to things you used to do, maybe your job, because I'm kind of getting the vibe that, like, you need to start brand new, absolutely, positively brand new from scratch. In fact, in these next few days, of course, whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but you may watch this when you're on a moon cycle, maybe, I don't know, but, and when I say moon cycle, I'm not talking about like your moon, like period for like the, the feminine energies here who have periods. But what I'm talking about, you could take it that literally if you wanted to, if that's what works for you. But what I'm getting from spirit is that you're looking behind, like maybe your business is waning, or just like the moon is, right? And you're not sure why. You're like, what is going on? It's because spirit is giving you a new purpose and a new direction. You may have already seen signs. Like, I feel like your connection to the spiritual realm is already been showing you. But the fact that integrity is in there speaks a lot to who you are. And maybe it's because you used to help a lot of people, or maybe you had a group. Maybe you were on Facebook and you want to get off Facebook or Instagram, or like one of those things. Like maybe you want to get off of there, but like you feel like, wouldn't be able to, all these people rely on me and they, whatever. And spirit's like, no, if you don't want to do something anymore, that's okay. And it's because you're intuitively knowing that you need to do something else. And maybe you're just bored too. Like maybe part of it is just straight up fucking boredom. Like you're just over it. You're like, I don't really want to do this anymore. Like it doesn't like align with me anymore. It doesn't align with my path. It doesn't align with my purpose. And spirit's saying, then, look at this pretty apophyllite. Then they're saying, if you're somebody who wants to play with crystals, but like, you're working in an office and you're like, that's not my path. I know that's not my path. Spirit's like, well, then if you're interested in Reiki or massage or like, something like that, they're like, sure, absolutely, go for it. If you're somebody who's like myself and you're a reader and you're really connected, because clearly the fact that you pulled the eagle means that you are, I would venture to guess most of you guys are angels or healers of some kind, or you're in the healing industry. Maybe you're a nurse or a doctor or, herbalist or something like that. And, you want to amp up your practice to work with crystals or, healing things like shungite. I've been hearing Spirit just said for some of you, you need some shungite. I believe it's Shungite. It's a stone. It actually comes from Russia. Research it. Again, get it if you can. I actually keep shungite in our water source all the time for multiple purposes. So you may want to do that as well. Let's see if you have any other cards coming in, and let's see if Spirit wants us to read from the book. Okay, also when I looked down, it was 4646, which is like 1010. So Spirit's saying like you're almost there, right? Like the number on the eagle is the 9. And 9, what's the next number? Is 10. And then if you take off the 0, what is that? A 1. It's new beginnings. So Spirit's saying if you want this new beginning, you have to stop looking to the past for the answers. So this says, when the eagle appears, it is a true signal of your connection to the angelic realm. With the angels' help and guidance, you can soar above life to see the larger vista. The eagle helps you make your choices accordingly with integrity. When you pray to your angels, they will always answer, for they patiently wait for you to call upon them for assistance. The angels reside beside you, always hoping to aid humankind in finding peace and manifesting abundance and prosperity. The eagle also asks you to remember to soar high above life and look at the big picture. Don't get too caught up in the tiny, unimportant aspects of life. The spiritual world is the real one. Your physical life is the dream. When the eagle appears, it's also a signal for prayer. It's time for a moment of conscious contact with the divine. Remember that you're always protected and divinely directed if you follow the guidance of Spirit as it appears in the form of the eagle. Also, you may actually see eagles, or like maybe you've been seeing eagles lately, or maybe you were drawn to eagles. Maybe that's why, you were pulled to, go to this pile. But also, this comes in with the integrity. This makes so much sense. I love you guys so much. I'm like seriously humbled. Thank you for letting me read for you. You guys are really beautiful souls. So the next card you pulled, another animal. So clearly animals are your jam. And if people aren't your jam, that's okay. And look at that. That's number 19. 1 before 9, right? We pulled 9 for the eagle. But if you add 1 and 9, it's 10. Yes, it's time for you to be done. And also they're saying this loyalty, sincerity, and unconditional love. You can still have that in another aspect. Just because people are not, just because you're not aligning with certain people does not mean that, it doesn't mean anything really. Right? It just means that right now, wherever you guys are in your level of consciousness, like wherever you are on your path, is just where you are. And quit questioning your gifts too, Spirit saying for some of you, you know who you are. The integrity is that you're like, but I feel like I'm going to be leaving people behind, or I feel, and they're like, you know what? As an old friend of mine used to say, it's not your circus, it's not your monkeys. You can't save everybody. And focus on the animals. If you've been looking, or maybe you need like a healing animal in your life, maybe you literally, it's time for you to get a dog, like maybe for some of you, it's like, you're like, and I'm getting from spirit, sure, like absolutely, like go to a pound, like I always ask people, go to a kill shelter first, please, because I cannot tell you how many amazing animals I've gotten from that were about to die or whatever. And they are so grateful. You think they don't smell the death? They know. And not only would they be grateful anyway, but that's your familiar. That's your best friend waiting for you. So if you've been feeling lonely, or you've been, afraid to move forward, maybe you're looking behind because it's a relationship that you're quote unquote afraid. I don't like to use fear-based words, but maybe you are, maybe you're feeling like this fear to move on, to do something different, to step outside of your comfort zone. The north nodes, the south nodes is like, I feel normally I like to follow astrology, but lately I just feel like astrology's been on crack, like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, I understand that things are going on, so I'm just going to do my best to still live my life, but make certain choices accordingly. And I feel like the same for you guys. Like right now, we're in the rest and restore energy. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but in real time, it's the 28th of January, and we're just a few days away from the new moon in Aquarius. I said this to one of the other pals as well. If you do not want to do something, don't do it. If you're feeling tired, you're feeling exhausted, if you want to just hang around with your dog, and you don't want to be around people for a while, take a break. Spirit saying, like, it's not about winners or losers, or like, I feel like wherever you guys come from, like whoever your family are, I get this vibe that they're like really, really hard on you, or maybe your job or somewhere. I just feel like a lot of people depend on you, and they're used to you being so loyal and having so much integrity. I mean, look at, you pulled the dog and the eagle. I mean, come on. And you can research dog and eagle spirit animals as well, if that, aligns with you. But, looking at this last month, like in reflection, where has the dog and the eagle energy served you? Or is it that now you're realizing how awesome you are, that you are like the dog and you are like the eagle? And now for the next moon cycle, you're going to really put your best foot forward, not look behind you, right? They had me put the dog there for a reason. Now I know, because now the eagle's not looking behind him. He's looking at the dog. And the dog's looking forward. And the dog's like, come on, eagle, come this way. You know what I mean? Because he's so playful. I mean, who doesn't love a golden retriever? Oh my gosh, by the way, I just opened to it. I love when Spirit does that. I literally, like, the book just like opened straight to it. Also, right above this is an amethyst. And we also have an ametrine, which is amethyst and citrine. This one, I don't know. I get gifts from people where I buy it thinking I'm going to remember it, and some that one I don't know, but I do know that it's a really rare one, whatever it is. I know I was blessed to get it, but even this kind of reminds me of like Harry Potter, like the hat, like I'm feeling like this playful energy for you guys. And the fleur-de-lis, I'm feeling like you're the first pile so far that I got some past life energy. I feel like the fleur-de-lis wanted to come in for a reason. It is a huge representation of French. So it could be somebody in your life that literally like is from France, or has a name French, or a French name, or they're a French energy, or maybe, you have a past life in France that you're connected to some people, and now Spirit's like, no, like, you're done. You've put in the work. You've done what you need to do. And, they're like saying, you don't have to, Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light, right? It's like you're stopping what you want to do and not moving forward and looking behind, because you're like, but I can't take these people with me, or I can't take this job with me, or I can't take this situation with me. And they're like, no, you can't. That's what change is all about. That's what's so beautiful about change. It's ever changing, ever growing. We're meant to move forward. We're not meant to constantly look behind us, you guys. We're meant to keep changing and evolving and growing. And some people, I understand, have a hard time with change, but that's usually your ego, and that's telling you that you know better, or trying to control you to stay in a situation, or somebody else's ego, control, narcissism. I've had to have some come to Jesus moments with my partner yesterday, where I was like, I don't know how to help you to, be not so into yourself, and I didn't mean it to like be a dick. I was just kind of like trying to explain a situation to them. I'm like, do you not see how that's could be very narcissistic? And they're like, wow, I know, I guess I've never looked at it that way. And sometimes we have to have the hard conversations with people, even the people we love. He's my husband. I'm not going to divorce him. I'm not going to leave him. But like we have these sometimes, drag out fights about certain things because it feels like no matter which way I'm coming at the conversation, he doesn't get it. And then all of a sudden he'll get it. But, I realize I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like I'm trying to control how he responds to me, how he, you know what I mean? So it could even be that you're the person in your life or in your relationships that's being a little narcissistic right now. And, think about the eagle. It's pretty much a solitary bird. They do, of course, have partners and they have, whatever. But, I've seen eagles fly together, but it's kind of rare. It's usually one eagle flying on their own. And a dog is like, love me, love me, love me, love me for the most part, right? Unless it's been like really broken or damaged. But, you know, so I'm just getting this energy that, maybe you're the one that's being the eagle and, or maybe it could even be that the person that you feel like you're going to be mean to is like the dog, right? They're loyal, they're so good to you, they're so wonderful. But Spirit's like, yeah, but they're still holding you back, or they're still like not believing in your gifts or who you are or what you came here to do. And they're like, you can't let these people stop you. So the dog says, the dog is the most loyal animal to human beings. When the dog appears on your path, he reminds you of this trait. Are you steadfast with your loved ones? Are you true to yourself and your dreams? Do you act with sincerity? It's very important that you do so now, for good fortune comes with the faithful dog as your companion. The dog loves sincerely without conditions and is happy to be part of a pack. Think about how you function in your community. Are you a loyal team player? Another issue that dog asks you to consider is the loyalty of others. If someone is being insincere, move on because he or she isn't meant to be in your pack, or they're not meant to be in your pack. Ask the dog for a sign and your answer will be shown. Dog energy lives in your heart, so look there first. Now, I have to tell you, it's interesting because Spirit called me to wear this sweatshirt today. I have to see which one it's on. But okay, so green is all about the heart chakra, right? So some time ago, I had just gotten this sweatshirt and I was really excited. And, it's secondhand. I get most of my things secondhand, but it was new to me and it was so cute and I loved it so much. I was working on a project and all of a sudden I looked down and I'm like, no. And it stained on my sweatshirt. And I was so pissed off until I looked down and noticed that it was in the shape of a heart. I don't know if I'll be able to show it to you guys. Hold on. Do you kind of see how it's in the shape of a heart? It's not a perfect heart, but it was like all of a sudden, sometimes when I'm doing washing and then I go to and take it out of the dryer and I go to fold it, I'll see it and it makes me smile because it makes me realize, like, you know what? Shit happens. I still love my sweatshirt. I'm still going to wear it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing has to be perfect. You are a beautiful spiritual being and you are made perfect just the way you are, perfectly imperfect. Right? So let's see if there's any more messages for this pile. Okay. We got the deer, which is gentleness and diplomacy. And Spirit is saying, yes, you can do this with gentleness and diplomacy. And just so you guys know, I just want to show you, this is a really, really big, this is a big deck. So the fact that you pulled 3 animals is pretty profound to me. And I'm going to put the deer on the other side of the eagle so that the eagle can feel safe and know that the dog and the deer are keeping them safe and looking out for them. And you can handle this situation with these people and yourself with gentleness and diplomacy. And 2 and 2 is 4, and 4 is about getting your balance back, right? And in order for you to get your balance back, you need to release the old patterns and the old ways that aren't serving you. It says, when the deer appears, it's a reminder for you to step gently on your path, for you're walking into a time when gentle movements and diplomacy are required. The deer's strength is in this quality. Make it your own and know that your steps are successfully assured. It's important that you be gentle with yourself as well, for you may be heading into a period where you're unsure of your footing or just coming out of a difficult situation. Blend your personal energy with the deer's energy of gentleness and diplomacy. Walk softly, and the way forward will be smooth. And remember, never mistake gentleness for weakness in yourself or in others. Yes, exactly. Oh, it's beautiful. That's so divine. I'm going to leave it right there for you. Pile number 2, I love you so much. Don't forget how powerful you are. Be who you are. Remember who you are. I love you so much. All of my information is in the description box below, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Pile number 3, 5950 is your angel number. They really drew my eyes to it, so you would just research 5950. Wow, I need a minute. Hold on. Okay, just need to regroup for a second. It was like really intense. Each pile I always do kind of like the setup differently. I don't keep it in the same. It's because it's all about you and your reading, and so just the way the serpent came in, I just was feeling I was feeling anxiety, but I was also feeling a lot of power. I think it's interesting. I thought it said 50-50 because I was like, oh, 10, like they're at completion. But then when I saw 5950, I was like, okay, that's really, really interesting because 5950 is also the number 19, which 1 and 9 is 10. And if you take off the 0, it's about new beginnings. And right now, in this energy, we're in the waning crescent energy. And whenever you watch this, it's timeless. But right now, in real time, we're a few days away from the new moon in Aquarius. And so we're wrapping up the new moon in Capricorn. We're wrapping up this moon cycle that started in Capricorn and ended in Aquarius energy. And I'm feeling for you guys, this rest and restore and reflect energy. I find it interesting that it's number 5. It's 23. I know it says 23, but 2 and 3 is 5. And 5s are all about change and transformation. And snakes are all about change and transformation. So it's interesting. It's also from the Animal Guides of Avalon. This is from the Wisdom of Avalon deck. And it says knowledge and healing are the key words for this energy around this beautiful serpent. But what I got from you guys was I felt like this kind of congratulatory, like, you made it, like, you made it. I always feel like for some of you, maybe you didn't think you were going to make it kind of thing. You're like, I didn't think I was going to make it. Also, Spirit just drew my eye too. They had me put the card there perfectly, right? And I just noticed, look at how this is almost going into like the branches there and how it like kind of starts there. I didn't do that on purpose, but I'm noticing it now. But they're just showing you that, like, see how everything has a flow, that we do things we don't even know we're doing while we're doing it. So don't forget your magic. Hold on, I'm channeling. Give me just a second. Yeah, Spirit's saying it's time for you to breathe new life into your life. It's time to shed that old skin. And some of you, it's interesting because they had me put this butterfly back here. And I have many different versions of butterflies, but this one is one of my favorites. It was actually handmade by this beautiful artist that I knew briefly. And it's a monarch butterfly. And I think it's interesting. See how the snake is actually going towards the butterfly? They specifically had me place it there because these aren't just like messages from Spirit, but it's also about the visuals. For you to start really looking and seeing what's out there, seeing what's happening, seeing what's going on. It's almost like, see how the serpent's like up in the tree? I kind of feel like that's you guys. Like you're sitting up in the tree with your knowledge and your healing, like you know what to do or you know how to help others, but you're kind of holding back right now. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I feel like you guys also, they want me to bring this up that right before this started, I was drawn to my lemon essential oil. And I just breathed it in and I was like, oh, and it just felt like new life. So get yourself some organic lemons and make yourself homemade lemonade, or get yourself a lemon and just like, cut it in half and cut off the rind and squeeze that, essence into your nose, into your, just smell it, that energy, that newness, right? Lemon does, we don't know, I don't know what it is. There's something about lemon that just has this like new energy, this new spark energy. And I feel like that's what you guys need, is something that's going to kind of like brighten your world, cheer you up, make you feel happy, because I'm getting that you're almost at the end, right? You're like at that. Have you ever seen a snake shed its skin when it's like at the end part, right? And you want to like pull it off for them, but it's like, it's not your job. Like, they know how to do it. They're going to pull it out, just like the butterfly when they're in the cocoon, right? They have to go, they have to pull themselves out. If you pulled the butterfly out, its wings would not be strong enough to fly on its own. The whole point is that they have to go through that. And it's the same with the snake. You know, the spirit animals teach us so much. When I studied with my shamans, I was so blessed to study with several Native American shamans, which really resonated with me, not just because my family is Cherokee, but also I believe my grandmother's side's Cherokee, but I forget that my mom said when I was growing up, they used to call my grandpa the Chippewa Kid. And I said, was he Native American? And my mom's like, no. But I remember my mom telling me years later, when she told me that, you know, I was Cherokee, we were talking about it. And I said, she said, yeah, but back then we didn't talk about it, because if you had any, you know, indigenous blood, right, then that meant that you were like, you know, poor, you were trash, or you were, you know, whatever, you're a heathen. You come from the heathens. Well, it's like, what? And that's a whole other topic for another day. But, you know, it's like we start to realize like that's part of us. And so when I was training and studying with and walking, as they called it, I walked with one of my Native American teachers, shamans. I walked with them for like 2 years, and they taught me so much. Layla, I speak about her all the time, the dancing spider woman. But there are others that I work with too, and they were really profound. And they said, so many of them taught me about the animals, and they talk about, if you really like look deeply, all of the animals have so much to teach us, not just in their behavioral patterns or, you know, the way they look or whatever, but also how they respond to situations, right? What their energy field is like. You know, if you look at a deer is really gentle, right? But when deer's got to run, they will haul ass. It's the same with the snake. A snake moves really slow, but they can go fast if they need to, right? But snakes and spiders and certain animals and insects, they don't eat a lot. But when they do eat, you know, they have to let it digest, and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's about patience. It's about taking time. So I'm feeling with you guys right now in this very fragile state. I feel like some of you guys, literally spirits saying that some of you are in a very fragile state. I want to read what the serpent has to say. Oh, that's so interesting. I opened up to deer. Also, if you were drawn to any other piles, I highly suggest you go to them. It must mean there's some medicine in there for you. So it says, the serpent's message is one of healing and of gaining knowledge. Whatever situation you're in right now is meant for this purpose. The serpent also reminds you that knowledge is important. Perhaps it's time for you to read a book or take a class in order to gain more understanding of your inquiry. Or maybe you need to ask questions of others who know and can help you. Ask the serpent, and you will be guided to the right answer easily and effortlessly. The serpent heralds success if you follow his signal. The serpent also lets you know that you may be suffering because there are aspects of yourself that are wounded and still need tending. Now is the time for this. Perhaps you need to rest, meditate, and allow the knowledge to come to consciousness. Or maybe you just need to sleep more. Another aspect of serpent energy is that each time you experience a healing or learn new things, you may need to shed your skin to adopt a new one. But don't worry, the serpent says that it's a necessary and beautiful thing. Also, when I looked down on the page, it was number 49, which is also the number 13 for some of you if you're feeling very witchy. And if you just found yourself on this channel and you don't really know much about me, this used to be Lula's Labyrinth, and I used to have real talks, kind of like I did at the beginning of this, and classes and whatever. And so long story short, Right now, I'm doing something kind of like that on a donation basis. So if you're interested in it, or if you want to do any one-on-one work with me personally, you can email me at themagickalmedium@gmail.com. It's in the description box below. All of my information is there. But if not, maybe you're just here and, you just need messages now and again. That's okay. But maybe some of you are getting more serious about your practice or your witchcraft. Most people know I'm very open about it. I have many, many gifts, but I definitely align with the word witch. I work with healing energies. I call myself a healer, but I'm really just healing myself and other people and helping other people find ways to heal themselves. So I'm going to see if we have any more messages for you guys today. Ooh, this one pulled right off the top. Okay, number 38, which is also the number 11, protection. Look at that. And this is from the Sacred Journey Markers. Protection. Okay, so that's interesting. Where do you want this right now? Okay, so my eyes are coming here. Okay, this makes sense also, you guys. This makes sense because this is the first pile that my little crystal ball wanted to come in, so maybe you're somebody who is new to this and you've always, known that there was something special about you. Maybe you're starting to understand certain things. You're seeing imagery and fires. I do fire scrying. I have fire scrying videos too. I'm actually been putting something together. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen yet. I think Spirit may have me do another nature channel too. So I don't know. A lot is happening right now. And I feel like this year a lot of things are going to change. But if you were drawn to this, most likely, you're very witchy. And most likely you are a reader or a healer of some kind. And Spirit is saying, you're shedding the skin of your old life and you're going into your new one. But the protection is what you need, right? It's almost like the snake's going away from it. But look at, this is the snake's natural habitat is down here. Look in the foreground. You can see the X, like Spirit saying like X marks the spot. And I'm also hearing like it's time to get grounded. If you can be in nature, go put your feet in a river, in a lake, even in the bathtub. Sometimes, you just need to run some water. Maybe you need to take a bath. But also for the protection, I'm hearing different crystals, labradorite, tiger's eye, black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is really powerful. Jet is another good one. The reason why I love black tourmaline is it's also protects us from the electromagnetic smog. And so if you're somebody who is really sensitive to that kind of energy, then I'm getting from Spirit, yeah, you want to, also lighting candles at your house, fire protection. Some of you, I feel like, are brand new, like you're brand new witches. But just so you know, you've always been this. I say brand new. One of my shamans used to call it my baby witch. You've always been this, right? But you're just finally like waking up to like who you really, really are. And it's scary, right? If you don't know what's going on or you're not certain or whatever. And sometimes you just need somebody to help you. But protection is also could be done. Oh, I thought we were going to smudge earlier, but we didn't. But now I know why. So you can smudge with different things. This is a piece of sage. So, research smudging. It's so personal for everybody. I don't want to tell you how to do it. Some people, like to work with that. Also, I have some fresh mint that I like to burn sometimes. But I'm hearing, yeah, like you need a good cleansing. Your house needs a cleansing. More baths for some of you. Speaking of Layla, one of my favorite things about her is that or I should say one of her favorite things she used to love to do was take a bath at the end of the day or take a shower at the end of the day. She just washed all that away from her. So if you're somebody who works in the public eye or, or works with people or, whatever, it's like, it's a good practice to smudge yourself and smudge your home on a regular basis. This is lavender stems. Lavender is very calming, but it also has a lot of healing properties. So the fact that I'm getting this knowledge and healing leads me to believe that you already know that you're this prophetic healer, or it's something that you may be in the healing game already, but maybe in a different practice. But I'm getting from Spirit, it's definitely time for you to shed that skin and do something brand new, something that you've never done. Step really, really, really far outside your comfort zone. So the protection says, this marker reminds you to protect yourself and to be wary of hidden agendas. Are you being too open? Perhaps you don't realize it, but you may find that you're a target for others, especially if you're shining brightly. This isn't a time to dim your light. Rather, remember that a spiritual warrior or priestess would always learn how to camouflage him or herself and be armed against potential attack. This is about the right use of power rather than the use of force. The former coming from a place of highly calibrated integrity, the latter from a lower base of destructive energy. Remember to walk the higher ground, but wear a cloak for protection. Ask your guides and angels to protect you, for they will always come if they're asked. And be moderate in all you do. This isn't the place to take risks. This marker also lets you know that the subject of your inquiry cannot in any way hurt you as long as you ask for protection. The divine will give it. That's beautiful. Let's see if we have any other messages for you guys. Also, this was at the bottom of the deck, and I kind of feel like this is a universal for all of us, so I'm just going to bring it in for a minute. So it says, the stag, pride, leadership, the animal guides of Avalon. Yes. Don't forget who you are. And if you're just waking up, right, if you're just discovering who you are, Spirit's saying, then you dive right in, man. You take good care of yourself. You read the books. You look into protection. You know, some people like protection spells. Some, you know, whatever you need, whatever works for you. It's so different for each individual person, so I can't really say that. But look at how that stag is yelling out, saying, I am here and I am not going to be quiet. I didn't come here to be quiet. I came here to stand in my pride, in my leadership. And it's interesting because I almost heard, I actually heard one of my spirit guides, you know, that I am here, I am queer. And I don't remember the whole thing, but when I was growing up in like the 70s and the 80s, that's when that first came out, right? When they're like, I am queer, I am here, and I'm here to stay, or something like that. And if you know the whole thing, please put it below, right? So don't be afraid of who you are. Maybe this is also a call to some of you. This may not be for every of you, but I definitely feel for at least one person, it's time to step out, right? Get the fuck out of that closet. You're too awesome to be there. Shed that skin. Let people know who you are. But you know what? You can do it with protection, and you can do it with love. Okay, you guys, those are your messages. I really hope they helped you in any way. All of my information is in the description box below, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Aho. My, oh my, I feel like a southern lady. Oh my gosh, you guys, there's just this energy coming off of your pile that's so beautiful and ambitious and gentle and kind, but also like, yeah, like this kind of southern charm that, I mean, I know my accent isn't the best, but there's just something that I can't really quite put my fingers on. And I say fingers because that's what I feel like it is. I feel like I almost want to lead a pathway to you, like, you know, like almost want to kind of move it, like, yeah, like you're the star of the show. Honestly, you are the star of the show, the belle of the ball. Oh my gosh, the black swan, you know, coming out of the darkness into the white swan, right? Years and years of struggle and strife and depression and anxiety. I feel like this last moon cycle, you guys learned so much about yourselves. I feel this really wonderful, optimistic energy. Like you're not oblivious to what's going on, but you just see things differently. Like all of a sudden, something just showed up for you. Like that's how Spirit's saying it. Like something showed up for you, and I don't know exactly what that means. It's different for all of you, but I just feel like something showed up, or maybe it was like, you know, over here where it's like this light in the storm. Something gave you a glimmer of hope, and you're like, okay. And then that little glimmer of hope gave you another glimmer of hope, and you're like, okay, I can do this. And then maybe you had a little bit of a setback, but you're like, but then something good came right after it, and you're like, okay. And you're like, chugga, 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 chugga. Chugga, 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 chugga. And Spirit's like, keep on that energy, keep on that energy. But in order for you to do that, you need to take a break. So 1838 is your spirit number. Look it up on your own. But yeah, and if you're new to that, and you've never been here before, you just put in Google and you put in the number, and there's a lot of things there, whatever you're drawn to. Maybe you're drawn to one, maybe more, but that's your medicine. Those are your guides from the angels. But yeah, I'm just feeling like you guys are a force to be reckoned with, and Spirit saying, take that energy and fly. Look at how the Ingles. Let's put it this way, if you were drawn to another pile for any reason whatsoever, Spirit saying, go look. But hold on, I'm going to bring this in here. Do you see how their wings, how they're getting ready to take off out of the water, right? Their neck is so graceful and strong, pulling, like connecting their neck. It's almost like your chakras too. Like I feel like it's like like all of your chakras are aligning and making you strong. Like maybe you started working out or something and like your core feels really strong. You've been doing yoga or Pilates or something like that, or you started running again. But something is making you feel really empowered and strong, and Spirit saying, yes, 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 keep doing that. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Like you're so close. And also the number is 12 on the swan, which comes down to the number 3 as well. So if any of those numbers align with you as well, but also I kind of look at it as 1, 2, 3, right? Like you're like, keep going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like keep going, keep going, keep going. But right now in this moon phase in the waning crescent, we are just a few days away from the new moon in Aquarius. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but in real time, that's where we are. So Spirit's saying, take this time to rest and restore and look back, reflect on the last month and be like, okay, what was good, what worked, and what didn't? Because I think a lot of people are so afraid of failure, and Spirit's saying, don't be afraid to fall on your face. It's okay. Because, sometimes we need to go in that direction and you're like, but I felt that, or maybe you checked in with your pendulum and your spirit guides were like, yeah, go that direction. And you're going that direction, everything's good. And then something fucks up and you're like, what just happened? I thought everything was good. Oh God, and it's like, you want to break down, and Spirit's like, no, that's when you have to go, okay, wait, why is this not working? Because maybe you're just meant to go that way for then, and now it's like you may even have to go back to a different place, but now you'll go back to it with a completely different knowledge, right? Maybe it's something you did a long time ago and you want to redo, like now it's calling to you again, whether it's work or like something creative that you really love. And Spirit saying, yeah, like ride that train, right? It's like chugga, 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 chugga. Like it's going, because it's like, woo, woo. It's like Spirit's like when you hear those woo, woo, even now when you hear a train do that now, Spirit wants you to know that is your guardian angels, that is your people, whatever you believe in, but that is your sign that Spirit is like, I got your back. I don't care if you're, at someone's house and all of a sudden in the background you hear a whoo, whoo, like you hear a train, you're gonna be like, you'll never hear that the same way again, because that's them telling you, yes, you're on the right track. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. They send you signs all the time. Some of you, I'm hearing you're really good about it, and some of you, it's like you just can't believe it. But Spirit's saying this is when you have to believe it. Oh, when I looked down, it was one. For you guys, whatever, but for me it was an hour and 22 minutes, so it was just like 1:22. So that may also that comes out to the number 5. So you're in this change and transformation, and again, if you're drawn to any other piles, I highly recommend you go watch them. But Spirit's also saying you're ready to fly out of this. Like you don't have to sit there anymore. You don't have to wait. It says transformation and trusting the psychic gifts. Yes. Transformation and trusting the psychic gifts. What did I just say? Number 5 is about transformation. I didn't really look at it. So I'm going to read from the book, and it says, this card represents a transformation from one state to another, from the ugly duckling to the beautiful swan. This signals a period of growth that will ultimately be life-changing. The swan says that you may change so much that you may not recognize yourself in the end. They're saying, but that's a good thing. Most important, it's time to honor and love this change within yourself, for then only the most beautiful reflection will shine back at you from the mirror of your life. The swan says, dive in. You will love who you become. It also reminds you that you need to trust your intuition and your psychic gifts to guide you as you go through the process of wonderful and ultimate change. The swan is the companion of the high priestess, who has the ability to part the mists that serve to separate Avalon from the physical world. The swan can dive into the lake on her behalf and find treasure that human eyes cannot see. The swan reminds you to see with your heart and listen with your spirit, and the whole world can be magically transformed. It's beautiful. It's also on page number 27, which is the number 9, which means you're so close. Like, right? Like she's just about to fly out of the water, but she's not exactly ready to fly out of the water. Let's pull another card. So right now, this is exactly what they want you to do, is just rest and restore, meditate, regain your strength, take a bath, cancel plans if you need to, right? If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. We're still in Mercury retrograde. We're still, there's a lot of things happening astrologically on the planet, which isn't the best time to sign contracts or do something, brand new. So wherever you are right now, you're just at that point where you're about to burst through. But you're not exactly right, because otherwise the flan, the flan. I was gonna say the swan would be airborne, flying through the air, right? Like she'd be airborne, and she, meaning like the swan, is a representation of the feminine divine. Spirit wants me to tell you that it doesn't matter who you are or what you embrace for yourself, but this card is about that feminine divine. And maybe for some of you, that's the last key piece, is the feminine divine, is really tuning in to the feminine divine. Okay. Oh, I love this so much for you guys. So you are being visited by the guides of the fairy, and this is the fire fairy. And what is that? Number 3. I shit you not, you guys. I forget which pile it was, but it was the same thing where the cards were, see how this is number 12? But if you add it together, it's 3. And then the fire fairy is 30, but it's also the number 3. So that means something for you guys. There's significance there. It could also be 33. That may mean something to you. 3 and 3 is 6. That could mean something to you. I mean, look at this year. 2022 is 222. This is your year. I'm telling you, this is your year. It may start out a little rocky. It may not be exactly where you want it to be, but look at it this way. Celebrate the Chinese New Year as a brand new year for yourself. When I first came into my gifts, honestly, I remember that I didn't align with the Gregorian calendar anymore. I just really, really aligned with the Chinese New Year. And I was into that for quite some time. So that could be the same for you guys. The fire fairy wants to be next to the fire. And the fire fairy says creative action and optimism. So that is huge for you guys right now. And I like that their wings are a little tethered, meaning like you guys have been through some shit. You've been through some shit. I feel like this is who you are. And also you could be a fire sign. You could be an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or maybe you're dealing with, that person in your way. And also this is a very androgynous energy, but at the same time, I'm feeling breasts here. But I also had a friend who had breasts and a penis. So, it's like you could be somebody who's a very androgynous energy. So I really want you to take from this what feels comfortable to you. But this energy right now, I mean, look at both of these creatures have wings. And Spirit is saying you also possess this magic to fly. You just have to get more creative. I want to hear the messages from the fire fairy because I feel like she has something really important to tell you guys. Okay, 30. It says, the fire fairy sparks ideas into action. She rules the flame of creativity and encourages you to move quickly. She's also the voice of happy optimism, showing you signs, signals, and omens to support your dreams. The fire fairy gives you hope and courage and ensures that your dreams will come true if you simply act on them. When the fire fairy appears on your path, she gives you a gift, a magical sense of energy to help you complete any idea you have that serves the greater good. She signals positive outcomes for your efforts. The fire fairy brings you another gift, illumination. Yes, I feel like I want to bring her all the fire. I want to bring her all the fire she needs. Yes, I love it. I almost feel like this one wants to come here too, like to, have her back. Yeah, that's lovely. Okay, so when you're in the dark about something, the fire fairy lends you her light so that your path will be filled with illumination. All things come to light quickly when the fire fairy appears. So while you're in this rest and restore and reflection energy right now, doesn't matter when you watch it. If you're watching in real time, I'm saying it that way. But also, I want to bring this down so you can see the reflection of the fairy and the swan in the table, right? But have some time to have self-reflect on this month. Look at even when I move this plastic, right? I keep it on here to protect my my beautiful brocade fabric. But do you see how this metamorphosis. It's almost like if it's moving, like looking at the reflection in water. So I'm getting this, even though it's a fire fairy, I'm getting the vibe that some of you really need to get out into nature and be by water. Like I'm a triple Sag, but my moon's in Scorpio, so like I crave that water. So if you're somebody like that, and also swans are, hello, where do we see them? Mostly in imagery, right? In the water. So there's something with that too, some water healing energy. It's been coming up in the other cards as well. Maybe you just need a good bath or a good shower, protecting your energy when you go to bed at night. Okay, so let's see if we have any more messages. Okay, you guys, I think those are all of our messages today. Thank you so much for being a part of this tribe. Thank you to the new subscribers, to our current subscribers, and all those who have been supporting this community for a long time. We love you so much. And I say we because it's me and Spirit, and you're the last reading. So I'll say thank you for being here. All of our information my information is in the description box below. And we'll see you next time. Blessed be. Aho. I love you. Bye.